Hey, you viewers and viewers, my name is John Red Strategist and welcome back to Sir You're Being Hunted. This is episode 498 now. So, we're not far off episode 500, folks. We're getting there bit by bit, slowly, day by day. And of course, you know, if you want to participate in our Q&A that me and Phil have planned for that episode, then by all means, as always, do keep leaving your questions down below on this video or on the thread on the community tab of the channel, wherever, or, you know, if you're signed up to the Facebook and Twitter pages, you can leave them over there, because I did set up a couple of threads on that one, on those pages as well. Now, I'm still here with the balloon experiment, of course. I'm progressively, you know, thinking that probably what I'll do is I'll continue this experiment for this episode and the next episode, but then come episode 500, I think we'll start a new map for the Q&A, and then after that I think we'll just throw the towel in on the balloon experiment, because, yeah, I mean, we've had some close moments where we nearly got onto it, but so far hasn't really worked for us. We just haven't really got there. Now, I've moved to the East Island, as you can see over here. We're in a different location. So I'm just going to explore, see if there's anywhere, you know, where we can climb up. Any good points where we can do that. Don't actually know where the balloon is at the moment, but I'm sure it'll show up at some point fairly soon. So in the meantime, we just explore around, find areas where we can climb and see if there's any sort of good locations. And if there is a canal somewhere, which there should be on this map, yeah, it's literally off in the direction I'm facing at the moment, then we should be able to find some cranes, see if there's any better ones from which we can jump onto the balloon if it ever comes by that way. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are all doing well out there, and I hope you're all looking forward to the Q&A. So, you know, I've had a few responses already so far. A few people have left me some questions, which is good. So at the very minimum, me and Phil have got a little bit of material to work with for that episode 500, which will be great. But, you know, we welcome more and more, because we always like having our Q&A episodes being quite substantial. We do like it when they're quite big. So definitely keep leaving questions, and feel free to leave a fair number of them as well. It's always very much appreciated. Alright, balloons off over there. It's interesting, we've got a whole canal section over here that's not bordered by houses, which is kind of unusual. You don't really ever get that, do you? Usually with canals there's always houses bordering them. Question is, will there be cranes on this island bordering the canal? Who knows? Because there wasn't actually on the previous one, was there? At least none that I remember anyway. Let's see, I doubt there's anything on these mills that we're really going to want unless there's food somewhere. No, there's dynamite, but we don't really need dynamite for anything. So, not much I can do there now, is there? Right, we'll take the whiskey though. Dump that empty bottle because we don't need it. There we go. Explore this mill over here. Now, it's fun, you know, little kind of, well, I say fun fact. It's not really a fun fact. It's more just an update on things that are going on in life at the moment. Work, of course, IRL that is winding down. The term is coming to an end, the teaching term that is, which is good, because it means I've got less work to do, more time during the day. So I'm going to fill up some of my time during the day with some recordings, just because, you know, mid-August, me and Phil are hoping to go abroad at some point. And I'm not going to say the dates. I mean, Phil may have already freaking spilt the beans, I'm not sure, in a previous video, I can't remember. But, you know, we're hoping to go to Germany and all that, so there is going to be a period in August where I'm not uploading videos, or not publishing them, that is. So, obviously I'm going to need to block record a fair bit of stuff and try and get as much of it uploaded as I can, just so I've got plenty of stuff in the meantime to keep me going whilst I prepare for a trip abroad and all that. But, you know, with a load more free time, with work sort of winding down to the end of term and all that, I've been catching up and re-watching lots of some of my favourite YouTube content at the moment. And do you know a whole series of videos which I haven't watched all of them before, but I've watched some of them, and I mainly watched some of them for nostalgia's sake. It was a series by Funhouse, subdivision of Rooster Teeth and all that. Demo disc, ladies and gentlemen. Any demo disc watchers out there? People who've watched that series? Demo disc was an interesting kind of series. I mean, obviously, a lot of water has kind of passed under the bridge because, you know, Bruce Green, or whatever he's called, who was a big part of that, you know, he's obviously not with Funhouse anymore, which is sad, but what can you do, eh? And of course, was it Adam, or whatever it's called? There was a whole controversy around him at some point. I can't remember what it was, but it was just inappropriate behaviour or something, I think, if I remember correctly. Don't cite me on that, though. Of course, he's not part of it anymore either, so, Demo Disc kind of died a death. But it ran for over, nearly 200 episodes, I would say, and some of those episodes, putting aside issues around one of the presenters, revelations about one of the presenters, was pretty damn funny. Because that humour was sort of right up my street. So I was rewatching a couple of old Funhouse demo disc videos recently, but it really occurs to me how frigging little of a shit Funhouse actually gave about, how should I say, the safer work quality of some of their videos and their thumbnails. Seriously, you look at some of the frigging demo disc thumbnails they used, you think to yourself, this is frigging borderline porn. How are you getting away with this? And indeed, a big sort of recurrent gag, obviously, in a lot of Funhouse demo disc videos was that they would spend half the fucking video looking at images on Rule 34. Now, granted, they would blur out most of the, the imagery that they're looking at, so you don't actually see it. Obviously, to stay on the right side of the YouTube community guidelines and whatever else have you. But I was watching one of them recently, and I'm not going to lie, it's like I came away from it feeling slightly skeevy, because I laughed, don't get me wrong, it was funny, but it also made me feel real skeevy. And I can remember the title of the video for anyone who wants to go and search for it. It's called Demo Disc Harry Potter. Basically, a lot of the jokes in here are about Harry Potter, and they look at a lot of friggin' Harry Potter Rule 34 fan art. Most of it's blurred out, like I say, but the reason why I came away from it feeling really skeevy is just because of the sheer number. Because the thing is, like, some of the images they looked at in Rule 34, like I say, they blurred them out, but other ones which were a bit less kind of explicit, they did show. And the amount of frigging Hermione Granger themed BDSM artworks that seem to be there on Rule 34 is kind of astounding. I mean, I'm not really surprised, because it's Rule 34. It's that, classic internet rule. If it exists, there's going to be porn of it and all that. But the thing is, what kind of made me feel... what was hilarious, but at the same time really unsettling, was the fact that so many of these frigging artworks either are based on manipulated photos of Emma Watson and other Harry Potter actresses from the movies. And don't get me wrong, when I say Emma Watson, I mean, adult Emma Watson, fortunately. If it was friggin' young Emma Watson, that would be fucking just freaking weird. That would not be funny. That would just be grounds for contacting the police. But the thing is, like, these images, it's just like, because they're like either photo manipulations or they're like photorealistic artworks. It was hilarious listening to, obviously, the Funhouse guys making fun of it, but at the same time, it like makes you feel kind of uneasy and a bit skeevy, because it's like, just because it's so either, it's like, if it's an artwork, it's either photorealistic or it is, like I say, a photo manipulation. And so as I was watching it, I just sort of had this, I'm sorry, this is like a really weird and out there topic to be talking about, but it's just one of those things where it's in my head, so I kind of have to talk about it. But the thing is, like, I mean, I know, I'm not naive when it comes to the internet. The internet, one of the big sort of unofficial purposes of the internet is if you're searching for porn, right? The internet is a haven for all things pornographic. Probably the moment the World Wide Web, the commercial World Wide Web launched back in the fucking 90s or whenever it was, people were immediately probably thinking, oh, I could use this to share pornographic material for free and all that. I would imagine that's probably what a lot of people were thinking. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of porn out there which, of course, stars pornographic actors and actresses who have, signed up to that, so, that's fine. They, you just do you. That's your choice, and as long as you're not being coerced into that, then it's your decision. And of course, there's a lot of porn out there as well, which is, not photorealistic. It uses things like clearly stylized representations of human characters, especially, fictional characters, things like that. So obviously it's not realistic in any sense. And because it's using fictitious characters again, you do you. But of course, I always feel slightly uneasy when you come across that category of porn, which is like either photorealistic representations of real people, or indeed photo manipulations of real people. That sort of stuff always made me feel uneasy. And don't get me wrong here, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying I actively search for porn. I don't. But when you're watching videos like Funhouse videos, for example, it's pretty hard not to come across it, especially when they're putting fucking Rule 34 in their videos. But as I was kind of watching that Funhouse demo disc video, and I was seeing this imagery that they were making fun of, it just sort of got me thinking about kind of I don't know, how does I describe it? Kind of the ethical questions, should we put it that way, in producing that kind of material. When I say producing that, I don't mean the Funhouse video. I mean these Rule 34 artists who are actually producing these artworks that are either photorealistic representations of existing real-life people, or, using their likenesses through photo manipulation, things like that. Because it's like, that's a real person. And even if it's not technically a photo manipulation, if it's more just like an artwork that is incredibly photorealistic, if it's so photorealistic that you can't really tell the difference, I feel like there's a big sort of ethical grey zone around there, because it's like, clearly you do not have the permission or the consent of the person whose likeness you are using there to produce that kind of imagery. So should you be producing that kind of imagery, essentially, is the kind of key question that I'm getting at there. And my sort of personal answer to that would be, you shouldn't, unless you literally have it in writing from that person that they are comfortable with you producing those sorts of artworks. And I know what some people will say. Some people will say, well, it's the internet, throw our hands up in the air, how are you going to stop all that, how are you going to police it? Well, honestly, you can't, I suppose, is the sort of real answer to that. But still, that doesn't stop me from making that criticism. So, just something to bear in mind there. Like I say, when I was watching that freaking Funhouse video, it seemed to me that there was just so much that was either like photo manipulations of Emma Watson or photorealistic artworks of her in situations that clearly she is, it's highly doubtable whether she's ever expressed any sort of consent to be depicted in the sort of way she's being depicted in those artworks, those works, and it's just, it's like, it always makes me feel real uneasy when I see stuff like that. I mean, because on the one hand, it's like, the thing about, obviously, porn and erotic imagery and artwork and stuff like that is that, ultimately, at the end of the day, if no one's being hurt, then, is it really our place to say people can or can't do it? Do you just kind of sit back and let people get on with it? Because, like I say, if no one's being hurt, then there's not not necessarily a very big problem here. At the end of the day, it's perhaps none of mine or anyone else's business to tell people what they can or can't do. At the end of the day, I try not to be a judgmental sort of person. In fact, I do tend to see myself as being quite liberal in a lot of respects. And when it comes to porn and things like that, my kind of attitude towards it is, if you look at porn and, if you're not hurting anybody, then fine. You do you. I'm not going to judge. Unless, you're doing something that is blatantly illegal and, blatantly involves someone being hurt against their will, then, you do you. Obviously, if you stray into any of that territory that I just mentioned there, then obviously, yes, there's going to be a problem. But like I say, it's just, I imagine, people like Emma Watson, people like that, probably are well aware that there is just frigging tons of photo manipulated porn that's been made of them by random people on the internet, and God only knows what, you know, people think of that, what they think of it. I've no idea. There's a part of me that thinks, I don't know, I probably would imagine they'd be probably a bit uncomfortable with it, but at the same time I don't know. Maybe they're not, who knows? Maybe they don't give a shit, because that's a possibility as well. But yeah, I suppose really the kind of key point is just that slightly ethical question of, you don't have the consent of someone to be, you know, using their likeness in that way, so should you really be doing it? Oh yeah, I mean, big philosophical question right there, ladies and gentlemen. I've just been running around in circles here at the moment. I haven't actually started climbing any buildings because I haven't really seen any on this island, unless there's like a big church around somewhere. So there's big buildings off towards the sort of east side of this east island, but they're mainly like mills and stuff, aren't they? Maybe I should go back over there and just take another look. Let's have a look then. We're heading this direction. Oh, careful. So yes, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to, I don't know. If you're okay with stamping your name out there in an internet comment section and putting your thoughts out there for the whole world to see, who knows. Alright, go over here then. Just go in a straight line, Red. That's all you need to do. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's another mill. I thought for a second there was a church tower over there, but that's not it. Let me sip some tea. Drinking. There we go. Drinking my tea. It's nice and warm. Okay. So, hang on. So, like, how many big buildings actually are there in this vicinity? So, there's like lots of like squares, some of fainter sort of colour on the map. But that might be the walls, maybe? Going around the sides of the buildings? Oh god, careful. Alright, there's a mill there. I'm just sort of looking at the imagers. So hang on, what's the big square? Oh, it's that mill over there, isn't it? So hang on, there's like another square sort of behind it. What was that about? Something over this way. I really need to do like a proper sort of an orienteering thing with Surrey being on its maps at some point, just to figure out sort of where everything is. So is it that chimney that I'm seeing there? Okay, it must be that chimney, yeah. That's what it is. There's something else beyond that. Possibly a ruin or something over there by the looks of it. Not entirely sure. Alright. Another map there, okay. I find like maps are always so rare, and then suddenly you come across so many of them all at once. As is often the case with a lot of things in this game, or so it feels like. Alright, so not really much there, is there? Okay, go over this way then. Oh, texture on that bush was really flickering then. Oh yeah, that one there, see? You know, before I started recording this episode, I was originally thinking of actually just, you know, throwing in the towel on the balloon challenge straight away and just doing something different in this episode. So at first I thought, oh, I might actually go on to, you know, multiplayer for a change and see if there's any servers going over there. But I went on. There were 3 servers, obviously the 2 official ones, EU and US, but nobody was on them. So I was like, don't want to go on there. But then there was another random server that wasn't password protected or anything. But so I thought, well, I'll go and check it. It's got 2 players on it. I'll just log in for the hell of it and just see what the deal is. Literally as soon as I got like 2 seconds on there, one of the people already on it just opened chat and just said leave. I was like, oh, right, fine, okay then. I mean, if you wanted it to be private, ladies and gentlemen, if you want your servers to be private, I would have thought maybe you'd password protect them, because that is something you can do in Sir. So I thought, you know what, I could get into a whole argument with these people, these random strangers, but then I thought, no, there's no fucking point. Why would I even bother? Why bother getting into an argument with strangers on the internet? No reason. Though then again, I kind of now wish I just stayed there and just trolled them. Now that I think about it, I should have just stayed logged in, because maybe, well, actually, I don't know. If it was obviously a privately run server, they probably would have eventually been able to boot me. Well, I could have stayed on for as long as I could, as long as they would permit me, and then eventually just troll the shit out of them. Just bombard them with silly messages in chat and things like that. Maybe throw dad jokes at them. No cyberbullying though, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go that far, because that would just be mean, wouldn't it, ladies and gents? Alright, what am I doing here? Okay, so there's basically nowhere on this island that is high enough for me to really climb up and realistically get to the frigging balloon. That is disappointing. Well, shit. So, the only real island that offered any sort of possibility was the one with the frigging church on it, and that's pretty much it. And even then, I don't really think the balloon ever comes near that church, so it's not going to happen really, is it? Alright, let's go over here. I'm just going to give this pylon one more shot. Can I climb up it? The answer to that is I can climb up this section, but then I'm going to hit the jump height limit, aren't I? Yeah, of course. Of course I am. Oh, ouch. There we are. Well, that didn't really work now, did it? That's really sucky. Okay. Well, in that case, there's not much else for me to do on this fucking island, is there? There really isn't. So if that's going to be the case, then you know what? Fuck it. I'm probably going to wrap this episode up here. Just make it a short podcast-style episode. 499, episode 499. I really don't know whether I'm going to continue with this map, or whether I'm just going to do something different. I might just do something different, to be honest. Just in the run-up to episode 500. Who knows? Maybe I'll go back over to the multiplayer and see if that server's still up and log back in and just troll the people on it for the hell of it. Nah. Yes? No? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see how I feel and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I'll be a bitch, maybe I won't be, who knows. Just for my own sadistic entertainment and all that. Alright, we'll tell you what, fuck it, I'm just going to wrap up here. Facebook and links down below, along with the links to my propagandist channel for anyone interested. If you enjoyed, a like is always appreciated, but other than that, I'm signing off now. Goodbye, everybody, and remember, lesson for you all. If you're going to make pornographic images, try and get the permission of the person whose whose likeness you're using, if you're making it a photo manip or a photorealistic picture, ladies and gentlemen. That's a life lesson from me, General Red. Goodbye, all.
Is there no quick save on it?
No, there isn't.
It's 1996 game, isn't it?
There isn't quick save now.
Right, so we
There will be no quick save, yeah? Oh, hello.
so we come out. Oh, so we just go down. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, you never know what's going to appear. Right,
We
let me
don't.
call it.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, I just got one shot.
Okay, that's the
Wow.
That's the mummy dinosaur. That one.
That's Mother Dinosaur.
Mother dinosaur.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to load from there.
Jesus Christ! Wasn't expecting that one.
No.
Bloody hell! What's that doing here? Big fuck off dinosaur.
Can we kill it from in here, maybe?
Ooh. Bloody hell! It one shot us.
The floor is actually shaking. The screen is.
Screen is. Maybe if we approach from the
Oh, he's there.